Daily Words of God. From the moment you come crying into this world, you begin to fulfill your duty. For God's plan and for His ordination, you perform your role and start your life's journey. Whatever your background, and whatever the journey ahead of you, no one can escape the orchestrations and arrangements of the heaven. And no one is in control of their own destiny. For only He who rules over all things is capable of such work. Since the day man came into existence, God has ever worked thus, managing the universe, directing the rules of change for all things, and the trajectory of their movement. Like all things, man is quietly and unknowingly nourished by the sweetness and rain and dew from God. Like all things, man unknowingly lives beneath the orchestration of God's hand. Man's heart and spirit are held in the hand of God. Everything of his life is beheld in the eyes of God. Regardless of whether or not you believe this, any and all things, whether living or dead, will shift, change, renew, and disappear in accordance with God's thoughts. Such is the way in which God presides over all things. As the night quietly approaches, man is unaware, for the heart of man cannot perceive how the night approaches, nor whence it comes. As the night quietly slips away, man welcomes the light of day. But as for whence the light has come, and how it has driven away the darkness of the night, man knows even less, and is even less aware. These recurrent alterations of day and night take man from one period into another, from one historical context to the next, while also ensuring that the work of God in every period and His plan for every age are carried out. Man has walked through these periods together with God, yet he knows not that God rules the fate of all things and living beings, nor how God orchestrates and directs all things. This has eluded man from time immemorial to the present day. As for why, it is not because the deeds of God are too hidden, nor because the plan of God has yet to be realized, but because the heart and spirit of man are too distant from God, to the point where man remains in the service of Satan even as he follows God, and still doesn't know it. No one actively seeks out God's footsteps and the appearance of God, and no one is willing to exist in the care and keeping of God. Instead, they wish to rely on the corrosion of Satan, the evil one, in order to adapt to this world and to the rules of existence that wicked mankind follows. At this point, the heart and spirit of man have become man's tribute to Satan and become Satan's foodstuff. Even more, the human heart and spirit have become a place in which Satan can reside and its fitting playground. Thus does man unknowingly lose his understanding of the principles of being human and of the value and meaning of human existence. the laws of God and the covenant between God and man gradually fade away in man's heart, and he ceases to seek or pay heed to God. With the passage of time, man no longer understands why God created him, nor does he understand the words from the mouth of God and all that comes from God. Man then begins to resist the laws and decrees of God, and his heart and spirit become deadened. God loses the man that he originally created, and man loses the root he originally had. This is the sorrow of this human race. In point of fact, from the very beginning until now, God has staged a tragedy for mankind, one in which man is both the protagonist and the victim, and no one can answer who the director of this tragedy is.